everybody. Hi and welcome to Empowered Alex. It's me, Alex, and today we are going to talk about les breasts, the tatas of the world, the boobies, if you will, the knockers, the jams, the hoo-haws. No, wait, that wouldn't be these. Anyways, I want to talk to you today, you ladies, about the proposition of getting breast implants. Do you want to do it or do you not want to do it? Well, I'm here to talk to you because I happen to have some firsthand knowledge of breast implants. You see, in 2007, so these babies are now 10 years old, yes. In 2007, I decided to get breast implants because my ex-husband kept asking me to have a larger breast size. And I went ahead and scheduled a doctor's appointment because that's what you got to do first. And I looked through all kinds of doctors and I settled on one down in San Diego. And I went in for my doctor's appointment and didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I just kind of showed up with my husband and they had me try on a little bra. And in that bra you can insert little implants, and you could turn to the side and see what it would look like, you know, for each cup up that you go. And each cup up that I went, so I was about a size, like a 36 to 38A, a small B, if I could fit into a small B. And, you know, and it was normal. I didn't have an awkward size boob. Nothing looked weird. You know, I would say that I was average. Small B, that's okay, right? You know, my ex-husband didn't dig that, so I felt really insecure with my body, and each time I would go up in size, he would be like, yeah, that's the one, that's the size. So I'd be like, all right, well, here's a larger size than that. He'd be like, no, that's the one. And then finally we got to this like really uber obnoxious size, you know, that made me look like I was definitely like a Barbie doll because I don't really have a butt, and so my boobs already make me look like I'm gonna like fall over. I'm a little top heavy, if you will. Don't really have that Beyonce pulling me back up, so my curvature goes down. And so I went ahead and signed up for these ridiculously large boobs, and thank God 14 days into that decision I called the doctor up like soon enough to be able to change my mind, and I said, hey, look, let's go for the next size down. And so what I decided on getting was a saline implant. It was less expensive than a silicone implant would have been. And although silicone implants are no longer risky, they don't have the same kind of risks that happened in like the 1980s where everybody was like, oh, don't get silicone implants. They're no longer risky like that, but they do cost more and they do feel more natural. I felt them myself, ladies and gentlemen, and they feel more like a real boob. But saline was cheaper, and I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with cheaper, right? I was 18 years old. I didn't really care. It was already gonna cost me $7,500 to do the procedure, and I didn't really want to kick out the extra cash. So I went ahead and scheduled the surgery, and I went in and they went under the nipple. Now there's different cuts that they can do. They can insert the implant under the nipple. They cut a little incision under the areola, which they did. Or they can go in on the side of the boob and they cut a little incision on the side of the boob. They can actually do an implant through your belly button now. They can do it in your armpit. They can insert it that way. So there's different, they can insert it under. So there's different incisions that they can do, different ways, depending on your breast size. The surgeon's going to work with you to see what kind of decisions you want to make based on what you have going on for your certain situation. My situation, I decided to go under the nipple. So the surgeon says, everything's going to look great, you're going to be bippity-boppity, everything's going to be good, like this, right? And sure enough, I go in for the surgery, and I come out, like 2 days later, I come out of this drug tase that I was in, and apparently my ex-husband had like a party around me while I was completely schnockered out on like 10 different types of pain medication. But nonetheless, I woke up and I was all bandaged up, and my boobs were like up to my shoulder blades or up to my collarbone, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. And they look like squares. They were like a square shape. And I freaked out because I was like, this is not what I wanted. So I called the doctor and he said, don't worry about it. So any of you ladies that go ahead and get that done, don't worry about it. If it looks crazy at first, it takes about 7 months for them to settle in. So sure enough, about 7 months to 10 months, they settled in right about where they should have been. So the bottom of my boob was about right here. Now, as you can see, the bottom of my boob is no longer right there. It is about right here. So they've drifted down about a good 2 inches, okay? Now, I was able to breastfeed with my breast implants. I did have my daughter. There was no complications with breastfeeding at all. I did get a little bit of mastitis, but that went away. But when it comes to how I feel about the implants in general, I regret getting them done. Absolutely. If I could go back in time and do it a different way, I would have not done them at all. I wish that I would have had the self-confidence in my body to never give in to my ex-husband's desires. And because I didn't make that decision for myself, there's a little bug flying, sorry. Because I didn't make that decision for myself, I now have to live with that on my chest. So every day, it's a walking reminder that I made this decision to change and alter my body for somebody else. And ladies, don't you ever let a man tell you what your body's supposed to look like, because you are beautiful just the way you are. And if he has got a problem, he better walk out and let the door hit him on the way out, okay? Well, right now, I'll tell you that much, okay? And I now live with these breasts, and I have since gone in. They're now 10 years old, and here's the big news, ladies, is that they have an expiration date of about 10 to 20 years, 20 max, okay? So every 10 years, think about that. You're investing so much money into just your boobs alone, okay? By the time I have my next surgery, which should be like this year, but I can't afford it right now, so I'm having to like hold off, right? I'm having to say like, okay, you know, maybe I can scrounge up the money next year to get it done. I'm gonna have to spend even more money this next time to get them done because I need more done to them. Because in the process of having these in this last 10 years, things have changed. My body's changed. I've gained weight. I've lost weight. I have had a child. I have, you know, gone through different phases of my life and natural wear and tear. I learned terribly the consequences of sleeping on my stomach, where it generally tended to drift apart. So I'm wearing no bra right now. But if I were to wear a bra, they would push up to right about here. And in a bathing suit, they look pretty sexy, you know? Like in a bathing suit and a bra, I could be like, all right, I could see myself as a Victoria's Secret model, maybe sometimes, you know, because it wasn't always bad. I didn't always have a bad relationship with my boobs. For the first couple years, it was like, hey, you know, maybe I could get used to these things. It was still awkward. It's weird because you aren't used to having them. So they're like the first thing that enters a conversation. They perceive you. So you go into the conversation like, hey, I've never met you before, but look at my tits. And hello. Did you see my tits though? Oh, by the way, I have a face. Yeah. But as long as you're okay with that and cool with that, knowing that that's going to happen all the time with any man that you speak to ever, then go ahead, you know. But I, you know, got used to that feeling, and the military was even weirder because nobody had gotten breast surgery that I knew. And so here I was, you know, getting this surgery and trying to pull it off like nothing had changed, when obviously I went from an A cup to a D cup. So it was a significant change. Things definitely fit me different. You have to think about the fact that you're going to buy all new bras, all new bathing suits. Shirts are not going to fit the same. I cannot fit into a cute flannel shirt to save my life. There is no button up top that looks cute, because I go to button the top and I either look like a slutty girl because I have to leave like these 2 buttons undone and like all my boob cleavage shows, or I button one and then it just like has this giant hole, and so it looks like I'm like the fat kid that can't like button up his clothes all the way. It's like pulling apart. Your boobs will pull it apart. I cannot wear a flannel shirt to pull off to save my life, okay? So know that ahead of time. Know that if you don't have a big butt, you are going to look top heavy like I do. And you know, it's just a whole lot of things to take into consideration. My breast implants went semi under the muscle. Your doctor will talk to you about if you have enough muscle mass to do something like that. If they lay on top of the muscle, it's only your skin holding them up, so you have more of a chance of them drooping with time. Now, I'm going to show you ladies something in just a second here, how my breasts now look after 10 years. They started to look this way at about an 8-year mark. I started to get some really bad rippling on the sides of my breasts, and they said, oh, that's normal, don't worry about it, you have saline implants, that's normal, you're supposed to, you know, you'll probably get that because you've gained and lost weight, your skin's sagging, and the implant is not going to be perfectly round. And I'm like, oh, well, that's news to me, because I thought I was going to look like perfect forever, right? No. And now I have these ugly things that I cannot believe I have in my body, and I wish I could get rid of them. But here's the catch. I went in to go get them removed. I said, Doc, give it to me. Like, I will pay to have these removed. This is right when my ex-husband had left me. I'd been raped. I really just didn't want this on my body. And I go in and I say, Doc, take it off. And they're like, well, you know, we can take them out, but have you ever considered just maybe getting a smaller implant? And I'm like, no, I really want to get them out all the way. And they're like, okay, well, I want you to imagine a tube sock and throw a tennis ball down the tube sock, and that's what your boobs are going to look like if you do that. And I was like, huh. And they're like, so if you want to have 70-year-old breasts on a 25-year-old body, then yeah, we'd be happy to do that. And I'm like, well, then thanks. Guess I'll just wait it out then. Now, well, I've waited it out now, and now I'm on my 10-year mark, and I'm getting ready to have to wrap my mind around investing another close to $10,000 on getting my boobs done again. I have to like scrounge up change, and instead of spending it on any other number of things like trips, my daughter, anything else that you could imagine investing $10,000 in, I have to say, okay, I'm going to go spend that on myself. And maybe at 18 that was cool. Right now I can't wrap my mind around it, but somehow I have to do it because this is driving me crazy. My left breast has literally, and this is embarrassing, right? I'm not totally cool showing the whole everybody of everywhere this, but it needs to be done because women out there are making these decisions not knowing what they're getting themselves into. And I wish someone would have showed me these same things. You know, I'd seen horror stories, but never really anybody open up quite this much about what they had gone through. So here I am, ladies, I'm opening up. Now, I have pasties on, so I hope this is not inappropriate for YouTube. But, voila, right? I'm gonna put my fingers over it anyways. This here is an example, just a small example of the rippling that will happen, that can happen, due to weight loss, pregnancy, anything. It's not attractive. Do you see that? Anytime I wear a bathing suit, anytime I bend over, maybe I'm being intimate with my partner, this is what I'm so self-conscious of. And it's painful. It's painful. This is my scar tissue on this breast has kept it in one spot. So when I put a bra on to go push them up, it hurts because it pulls from my armpit. And on this one, I have, you know, rippling too. And it's kind of awkward shape. I have like these bulges randomly, and I can feel it. They feel weird. And it's actually crazy because this implant, I can move all over the place. I'm losing saline in this one. I'm pretty sure it's like dripping into my body, or something's happening that's not quite right because it's gone down in size significantly. I can squeeze it. You know, I can squeeze it quite tight like that. On this one, I can't do that. I cannot do that, right? So I have the ability to just do that to this one, and I cannot do it to this one. So something's wrong. And this one has drifted. You'll see, here's my sternum, and this one has drifted down and to the right. So my nipples actually have about a several centimeter difference in where they should be when you cross the line horizontally on my chest. So those those things affect me, of course. You know, as a woman, you want to be adequate. You want your body to add up where it should, right? Proportionally. And they just, my breasts don't. And for something that I have invested this much money in, $7,500, you kind of get bummed out, but you have to say like, okay, well, they told me, you know, I didn't know that there was an expiration date, but you're like, man, I didn't know it'd be this bad. So to you ladies out there who are making decisions about changing your body, know that any kind of plastic surgery is not guaranteed. You can't have a guaranteed, the doctors tell you that when you go in for the surgery, but you're so, you know, hell-bent on changing your body that you are willing to do it. And I just want the ladies out there that are making decisions on doing this to take into consideration my experience. And I don't want to deter you ladies at all. You know, if this is something you have your heart set on, just do your research. Don't take my opinion as the only opinion that counts. Do your research. And, you know, next time I'm going to go for silicone. But that's just me. So ladies, have a great day. Thank you for coming and watching me. And comment below and like my page. And talk to you later. Bye, girls.